There's one thing doing the rounds at the moment. It's a particular term, a coin of phrase, and that is ethno-nationalism. It's something that the establishment is starting to say to try and badge people who are concerned about the problems within their own country as something else. Now, the definition of an ethno-nationalist, very, very simply boiled down, is if you are of this country ethnically, then you stay. If not, off you go. And that includes generations and generations of people. I am not an ethno-nationalist, not one little iota. My beliefs are different, yet you could badge me as an ethno-nationalist. But when you get people in positions of authority, such as Sadiq Khan, who we'll come to in a moment, when they're spoken to about this sort of subject, they start going off and where would we go? You know, it's really something to behold. Now, have a look at this here. This is a tweet that I was sent, and it says Sadiq Khan says he doesn't know where he would go if his family had to leave the UK. He then, 2 sentences later, said he was speaking to his family in Pakistan. You couldn't make it up. Right, well, let's have a listen, shall we?
And what broke my heart, John, yesterday was my daughters being scared for the first time ever because of the colour of their skin and because they're visible Muslims. And I went through that, the National Front, the BNB, the most recent incarnation, the EDL, and we've discussed in the past the sort of stuff I get on social media. But I thought I'd be the last generation who would get that sort of stuff because my kids could be more British, honestly, or English, or Londoners. You know, it's just, where would they go? Do you know what I mean?
My kids are British, English, Londoners. Well, you're not English because of the way that you've behaved and the various things you've commented on. You are British by virtue of the British Nationality Act. You may certainly be Londoner in the sense that you inhabit London, but English, no, you are culturally everything else. And you have proved that in droves with tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet. But let's continue this.
And the conundrum Hamza has, which my Jewish friends have, which I have, is where we go, right? I say this though, London is different. I can't speak for Scotland or the rest of the country. London is different to me because there is no other city in the world I'd raise my daughters. I speak to my cousins who live in Pakistan, who are ethnic majority and religious minority. I speak to my cousins who live in India, who are ethnic majority, religious minority. And they say to me, listen, what you've achieved in London, we couldn't do in Pakistan or India. Going from the council estate I was raised in to being the mayor of this great city. That's not my brilliance. That's because Londoners have these values. That means they can elect someone like me to be their mayor. So the short answer is no, I'd go nowhere. I'm first in 3 generations of Khans going nowhere. My grandparents migrated from India to Pakistan. My parents from Pakistan to London. I'm staying here, mate.
The newsagents.
I'm staying here, mate. That's what he says. I'm staying here. So despite all this diatribe, where would I go? And he says he's got family in India and he's got family in Pakistan. And at the end, I'm staying here. So what quite was the point of the conversation there? It's almost like he completely lost it, trying to make some kind of weird show of something. I'm perplexed. I'm lost for words, really. What quite was all that about? At the end of the day, yes, he is the mayor of London. Yes, he's talking about potentially running for another term. Yes, he's been the mayor of London for more than one term. But when you look at the way London was many years ago compared with the way London is now, my friend Graham Moore of the English Constitution Society, who is a proper Londoner, did very powerful presentation the other day on his X account about where has my culture gone. And this really demonstrates, I'll leave a link in the description below, by the way, what has happened to London. The culture of London. London has been regionalised. So where would you go? Well, you'd be in London, Sadiq, because London is what you've made it through years of turning it into something other than the great city that it was, despite your protestations. Now, before you say about, you're an ethno-nationalist, Andy, you're a racist, Andy, and all the rest of it, Andy, I want to share something with you right now so there can be no misunderstanding. Pull that up on the screen. This is something I put on. I am a member of Restore Britain. I am a member of the English Constitution Party. Let me make something absolutely clear. I am not an ethno-nationalist. My politics are rooted in constitutional order, not race. I believe in law. I believe in self-government. I believe in accountability. I believe in a nation bound by shared civic responsibility. If you live here, respect the law, contribute to society, and uphold the constitutional framework of this country, it's very important. You belong. If you can't, then you leave. Piss off. My focus is restoring constitutional balance and national self-determination. Defending a nation's constitutional identity is not ethnic supremacy. England is a constitutional nation, not an ethnic project. That is the position, and that is my position. Now, what I mean by constitutional restoration, if you look at the Act of Settlement 1701, which was a document created by the English, there are paragraphs, there are whole lines in there, which, if enforced properly, would mean that Sadiq Khan could not, in a month of Sundays, be the mayor of London. It would be constitutionally impossible. And he's not the only one. There are many sitting in the Houses of Parliament right now that couldn't be in their positions either. So then what reason would he have to stay? What reason would he have to be in the position he is? Why isn't that enforced? Because of the British Nationality Act 1948 and 1981. In Schedule 4, I think, might even be Schedule 3 of the British Nationality Act 1948, there's a particular section in there which repeals from the Act of Settlement the line that gives us all the protections we should have. And then people like Sadiq Khan can come into this country, gain British citizenship, gain positions of authority, import their own culture into the area which they're responsible for, and call themselves British. Isn't that a thing? So when I hear, different political parties, different individuals conflate the word British along with English, Welsh, Scottish, and so on and so on and so on, the reason I get so uppity is because when you look at it at a legal, constitutional level, you're not doing anybody any favours at all and allowing people like him to continue in place. That's my standpoint, the legal standpoint. There are over 30 million people that declared English-only nationality in the 2011 census. There's more than that, the population of England. We have a whole body of law, constitutional law, Halsbury's Laws of England, all of which could solve all of this very, very quickly indeed. And why don't they do it? Why don't they acknowledge England's existence? One of the reasons, very powerful, the Fabian Society, the way it is, the socialist background of it, would become extinct within England because it says very clearly that anybody within the civil service that shows any communist or fascist tendencies, for that matter, have to be purged, gone. That's why they don't talk of England. You need to spread the message, particularly if you are English. You need to spread the message. with Restore Britain, we have a chance now. You know, I was very disappointed to see the attitude displayed in what I could only consider a rant in a video by another political leader. You know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say the name. Quoting things like ethno-nationalism, very disappointing. So when you get things like that happening, it just shows you that you've got people worried. And Restore Britain are saying a lot of the right things, but in my opinion, they need to be nudged in a certain direction a little bit more than they are. And once they get it right, get it 100% right, by God, we got some chance of getting our country back. And when I say country, I mean England. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share my stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.